This got me in so much trouble in Washington. I carried the Obamacare repeal. And I was told by leadership, dude, you can't carry the Obamacare repeal. And I'm like, you mean the one that you and everybody else with an R beside their name voted for last year? And they're like, yeah, because now we have both houses in the White House. So wait, hang on, I can't carry it because it might pass? Yes. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Wow. So this was kabuki theater to placate a base that they think, that they look down their noses at and think is ignorant. And then when we have the ability to get it done, then they go, you can't do that. Why not? Because what then? And the first day I was in the state senate, I cannot remember the issue, but the majority leader's like, well, what do we do about this? And I said, new guy, what about this? And he goes, they'll say we're racist. And I said, dude, they're already saying we're racist. Dude, what if we just do the right thing and trust that African Americans and Caucasian Americans and all Americans go, son of a gun, those guys did the right thing. You know? So like, and that was another thing we talked about off air. Like, I cared too much what people said, but it never was able to change sort of what I was going to do. You guys are amazing, because I've read the crap they say about you, and that's what happens to Republicans. They get cowed into sort of submitting.
Well, that's the point I was making about the Ahmaud Arbery thing. You know, that you could say on the question of the law as the judge ordered the jury, they made the right call. But when you actually break it down and look at the full story, I mean, a gun had been stolen from a car. A gun had been stolen. And there had been a string of robberies. The neighbors were scared. They were setting up cameras everywhere. The police went door to door and said, here's a picture of the guy we're looking for. Someone sees the guy running down the street. Surveillance footage caught him in the building the night before. And the guys are like, let's stop him and get the cops. So they called the police, but the police said, don't pursue. They pursued anyway. Dude, they flanked him to the front. He runs after him. The guy drives behind him filming. He goes to the right around the truck and then grabs one of the McMichael's shotgun. They fight for it. It goes off. He gets shot in the chest. He dies. Now we're in the case where the narrative from the left was he was just jogging. He's just jogging, like 20 miles from his own house? No. But why did the McMichaels grab a gun and go after him? Well, because a gun had been stolen. And I'm not saying it was the right thing. But the judge basically said, if the law is to be read that you need to witness the crime, then they stopped him illegally, which is a felony. And because he died in the struggle, it's felony murder.
Yeah, right. The felony would be,
I think, false imprisonment.
False imprisonment, kidnapping, essentially.
Yeah, but the law actually states you have a right to stop someone if you suspect a felony.
Well, here's the story to me, right, as a guy who just got sort of schooled on this. The story to me is that I consider myself to be marginally well-read, and half the stuff you said I'd never heard.
That's wild.
Right. I mean, you see where I'm going with this, Tim? Right,
shout out to legalinsurrection.com and Law of Self-Defense, Andrew Branca, because they educated me
on this. I trained on self-defense, on self-defense law and circumstances under it. We had a long phone call in the snow on the way up here about this dude's like, well, if I shoot the intruder with number 4 versus double-aught buck, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. You shot him. It's deadly force anyway, so don't overthink this.
We've talked a lot about that too. But you know, back to the main point, it's that these Republicans, the ones you mentioned, that they're like, oh, we can't actually repeal Obamacare because then we have no political ammo.
Well, they took like 3 or 4 votes where they all voted for it. And then I had to do a discharge petition, which is where you try to get a number of members to sign a bill to get a vote on it on the floor because the speaker won't bring it, who was a Republican.
Wow.
And I got like 26 signatures on the discharge petition. People wouldn't even sign the document to let it come to a vote, because they didn't want to be held accountable. And I'm like, it took me less than 24 hours to go, this place is broken beyond my ability to repair it.